Before the long shadows of colonial ships stretched across its shores, Africa was a continent bathed in a brilliant light. It was a land of immense power, of sprawling kingdoms and magnificent empires that commanded respect across the known world. Here, vast armies marched under the banners of legendary kings, their footsteps echoing through history. Sparkling cities rose from the savannas and forests, their markets bustling with merchants from distant lands, and their universities, like those in Timbuktu, were beacons of knowledge, drawing scholars from across continents to study astronomy, mathematics, and philosophy. This was a land of profound innovation, of intricate art, and of deeply rooted spiritual traditions that shaped the lives of millions. This is not the Africa they told you about. This is the Africa of empires, power, and civilization. A history not of darkness, but of dazzling achievement, of societies that mastered their environments and built legacies that endured for centuries. From the golden sands of the Sahara to the lush forests of the Congo Basin, these empires were the architects of their own destiny, their influence shaping the very course of human history. Their stories, though often silenced or overlooked, are woven into the fabric of the continent itself, waiting to be rediscovered and celebrated for their true significance. I invite you now to join me, curious trout vars, on a journey back in time. We will peel back the layers of misconception and uncover the truth of a continent's glorious past. Together, we will explore the top 10 great empires before colonization, a history that was systematically erased, but one that was never and could never be completely destroyed. Let us begin our exploration into this world of forgotten grandeur, a world that deserves to be remembered. Our journey begins in the south, at the confluence of the Limpopo and Shashe rivers, around the year 1075 AD. Here, on a sacred sandstone hill known as Mapungubwe, rose southern Africa's very first kingdom. This was not a simple settlement, but a highly sophisticated and stratified society, a precursor to the great civilizations that would follow. The king and the royal court lived atop the hill, a place of spiritual power, physically separated from the commoners who resided in the valley below. This spatial arrangement was a clear and powerful symbol of a complex social structure, one of the earliest of its kind in the region. The wealth of Mapungubwe was built on a foundation of international trade. Its people mined gold and ivory, precious commodities that they traded with merchants from as far away as Arabia, Persia, India, and even China. Archaeologists have unearthed remarkable artifacts here: delicate glass beads, fragments of Chinese Celadon pottery, and most famously, a stunning golden rhinoceros, crafted with exquisite skill from beaten gold foil. These treasures are not just objects of beauty, they are silent testaments to a thriving, globally connected society that flourished here, in the heart of southern Africa, long before the first European explorers arrived. Now we travel north to the shores of Lake Chad, where one of the longest-lasting empires in human history took root. For over 1,000 years, from the 9th to the 19th century, the Kanem-Bornu Empire dominated the Sahel, a vast semi-arid region bordering the Sahara. Its longevity is a staggering achievement, a testament to the resilience and political genius of its rulers, the Sayfawa dynasty. At its zenith, the empire was a formidable power, controlling the crucial trans-Saharan trade routes that linked sub-Saharan Africa with the Mediterranean world. Its influence stretched across what is now Chad, Nigeria, Niger, and Cameroon. The empire's strength was founded on its formidable military, particularly its cavalry. The rulers of Kanem-Bornu imported Arabian horses and developed advanced armor for both rider and steed, creating a powerful force that could project power across immense distances. But it was not just a military state. The capital, Njimi, and later Birnin Gasargamu, became major centers of Islamic scholarship and diplomacy. The Mais, or kings of Kanem-Bornu, were known throughout the Muslim world, exchanging ambassadors with the great powers of North Africa and the Middle East, and ensuring their empire was not merely a regional force, but a respected player on the world stage. Further west, in what is now modern-day Mauritania and Mali, lay an empire whose very name became synonymous with wealth. This was the Ghana Empire, known to the Arab world as the Land of Gold. From around the 8th to the 13th century, this powerful state controlled the lucrative trade in West African gold, which it exchanged for salt from the Sahara, a commodity just as precious. The kings of Ghana did not simply facilitate this trade, they controlled it with absolute authority. They held a monopoly on all gold nuggets, allowing only gold dust to be traded, a clever policy that kept the value of gold high and filled the royal coffers to overflowing. The capital, Kumbi Saleh, was described by visiting Arab scholars as a magnificent twin city. One part was the bustling commercial center filled with merchants from across the Islamic world, its streets lined with stone houses and mosques. The other part was the royal city, a sacred enclosure where the king resided in a grand palace, surrounded by his court and guarded by an army said to number in the hundreds of thousands. The descriptions speak of a king adorned in gold, holding court in a pavilion where even his dogs wore collars of gold and silver. This was a kingdom of immense and dazzling opulence, its power and prestige built upon the shimmering sands of the desert and the rich earth beneath it. Our journey now takes us east, to the highlands of modern-day Ethiopia and Eritrea. Here, from the 1st to the 7th century AD, the kingdom of Aksum rose to become a dominant naval and trading power. Its influence felt across the Red Sea and into the Arabian Peninsula. Aksum was a vital link in the trade network connecting the Roman Empire with ancient India. Its ports, like the legendary city of Adulis, teemed with ships carrying silk, spices, ivory, and exotic animals. The Aksumites were master architects and engineers, erecting colossal single-stone obelisks or stelae that soared towards the heavens, monuments to the power and piety of their kings. Aksum holds a unique place in history as one of the first major empires in the world to officially adopt Christianity. In the 4th century, King Ezana converted to the new faith, a decision that would profoundly shape the cultural and spiritual identity of the region for millennia to come. The kingdom even developed its own written script, Ge'ez, and minted its own coins, bearing the sign of the cross, a clear declaration of its power and its faith to the world. Aksum was a contemporary of Rome and Persia, a sophisticated civilization that stood as an equal among the great empires of the ancient world, a beacon of Christianity in Africa. Deep in the heart of southern Africa, south of the Zambezi River, lies the ruin of a city so magnificent that early European explorers refused to believe it could have been built by native Africans. This is Great Zimbabwe. Flourishing between the 11th and 15th centuries, it was the capital of a vast kingdom that covered much of modern-day Zimbabwe and Mozambique. The name itself means great houses of stone, and the scale of its architecture is truly breathtaking. The city is dominated by the Great Enclosure, a massive circular wall built with such precision that no mortar was needed to hold its millions of granite blocks in place. This was no mere fortress, it was the bustling heart of a major trading state. Like Mapungubwe before it, Great Zimbabwe grew rich from controlling the region's gold and ivory trade, its commercial reach extending to the Swahili coast and across the Indian Ocean. The society was complex and hierarchical, with a ruling elite living within the stone enclosures while a population of perhaps 20,000 people lived in the surrounding valley. The famous soapstone birds found here, symbols of royal power and spiritual authority, are masterpieces of African art. Great Zimbabwe stands as an undeniable and powerful testament to an indigenous African civilization that achieved architectural and political greatness. We now arrive in the dense tropical forests of what is now southern Nigeria, home to the formidable Kingdom of Benin. From the 13th to the 19th century, this kingdom was a major power in West Africa, renowned for its highly centralized government, its powerful warrior kings, or obas, and its extraordinary artistic traditions. The capital, Benin City, was a marvel of urban planning. Early European visitors described it as a vast city, protected by massive walls and moats, with wide, straight streets and houses kept spotlessly clean. At its heart was the opulent royal palace, a sprawling complex of courtyards and galleries adorned with incredible works of art. It is this art for which Benin is most famous. The kingdom's artisans were masters of ivory carving and most notably bronze and brass casting. Using the sophisticated lost wax technique, they created thousands of intricate plaques and lifelike sculptures. These were not merely decorative objects, they were historical documents, recording the kingdom's history, its spiritual beliefs, and the heroic deeds of its obas. The Benin bronzes are considered among the greatest artworks ever produced by any civilization. They are a vivid metallic library, telling the story of a kingdom rich in culture, power, and mystical depth, a story that continues to captivate the world. Number 4. The Zulu Kingdom, the People of Heaven. In the early 19th century, a new and formidable power erupted in southern Africa. Under the visionary and ruthless leadership of a king named Shaka, a small clan was forged into the mighty Zulu kingdom. Shaka was a military genius who revolutionized warfare in the region. You see, he abandoned the old tactics of throwing spears from a distance and introduced the Ikawa, a short, broad-bladed stabbing spear, for close-quarters combat. He developed the famous buffalo horns formation, an encircling maneuver that allowed his regiments, or amabuto, to surround and annihilate their enemies with terrifying efficiency. Shaka's reforms created one of the most effective fighting forces the continent had ever seen. The Zulu army, disciplined, organized, and fiercely loyal, rapidly expanded the kingdom's territory, creating a vast state that dominated the landscape. Even after Shaka's death, the military prowess of the Zulu nation remained legendary. At the Battle of Isandlwana in 1879, a Zulu army inflicted a stunning and humiliating defeat upon a technologically superior British colonial force, a victory that sent shockwaves throughout the British Empire. The Zulu kingdom stands as a powerful symbol of African military might and resistance in the face of colonial expansion. Number 3. The Songhai Empire, the Sahelian Colossus. As the Mali Empire began to wane, a new power rose to take its place, becoming the largest and one of the most powerful states in African history, the Songhai Empire. From the early 15th to the late 16th century, Songhai controlled the trans-Saharan trade routes, its dominion stretching over a vast territory that encompassed parts of a dozen modern-day nations. Its leaders, such as the warrior king Sunni Ali Ber and the great reformer Askia Muhammad the Great, were figures of immense stature. Sunni Ali, a brilliant military strategist, expanded the empire relentlessly, capturing the legendary cities of Timbuktu and Jen. Under Askia Muhammad, the empire reached its cultural and intellectual zenith. He was not only a conqueror, but also a brilliant administrator who centralized the government, standardized weights and measures, and established a professional army and a navy of canoes to patrol the vital Niger River. He was also a devout Muslim who elevated the city of Timbuktu to unprecedented heights. Its universities, like the famous Sankore University, became world-renowned centers of learning, their libraries filled with precious manuscripts on law, science, and theology. For a time, Songhai was the intellectual and commercial heart of the Islamic world, a shining beacon of civilization in West Africa. Number 2. The Kingdom of Kush, the land of the bow. Now we travel back in time, far up the Nile River, to a civilization that was both a rival and a conqueror of ancient Egypt. This was the Kingdom of Kush, a powerful state that flourished for over 1,000 years in the region known as Nubia, in modern-day Sudan. The Kushites were famed for their skill as archers, so much so that the Egyptians called their land Ta-Seti, the land of the bow. They were also masters of ironworking, and their capital, Meroe, became a major center for smelting, its furnaces burning day and night, earning it the nickname, the Birmingham of Africa. The relationship between Kush and Egypt was complex, a long history of trade, cultural exchange, and fierce conflict. For a time the Kushites were the more powerful. In the 8th century BC, a Kushite king named Pae marched north and conquered Egypt, establishing the 25th dynasty, where Nubian pharaohs, the Black Pharaohs, ruled over the combined kingdoms of Kush and Egypt for nearly a century. They saw themselves not as foreign conquerors, but as restorers of traditional Egyptian values. The pyramids they built at Meroe, though smaller and steeper than those at Giza, stand today as a proud and enduring legacy of this great African superpower. Number 1. The Mali Empire, the Golden Age of West Africa. At the pinnacle of our list is an empire whose wealth was so immense, it is almost impossible to comprehend. From the 13th to the 16th century, the Mali Empire dominated West Africa, controlling not only the vital trade routes but also the source of the gold itself. It is estimated that at its height, Mali produced almost half of the Old World's gold. The empire was founded by the legendary Sundiata Keita, the Lion King, whose epic story of overcoming disability to unite his people and forge an empire is still told by griots today. He established a government based on a federal system, with a great assembly of elders that ensured a measure of justice and stability across his vast domain. But the name forever associated with Mali's golden age is that of Mansa Musa, who ruled in the 14th century. He is widely considered to be the wealthiest individual in all of human history. His pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324 is the stuff of legend. He traveled with a caravan that stretched for miles, including tens of thousands of soldiers and servants, and camels laden with so much gold that when he distributed it generously in the cities he passed through, like Cairo, he inadvertently crashed the local economy for over a decade. Mansa Musa transformed Timbuktu into a world-class center of learning and culture, building the great Djinguereber Mosque. The Mali Empire was not just rich in gold, but rich in culture, knowledge, and power, its story a shining example of African greatness. From the golden rhinoceros of Mapungubwe to the staggering wealth of Mansa Musa, the stories of these 10 empires paint a picture of Africa that is vibrant, powerful, and profoundly sophisticated. These were not isolated tribes but interconnected civilizations that shaped the course of world history through trade, conquest, and intellectual exchange. They built cities of stone and bronze, commanded vast armies, and fostered centers of learning that were the envy of the world. Their achievements are etched into the landscape, preserved in their art, and carried in the oral traditions that have survived for centuries. This is the true heritage of a continent. This history, for so long buried under the weight of colonial narratives, is a history erased but never destroyed. The evidence of its greatness is all around us, waiting to be seen and understood. The legacies of Kush, of Benin, of Great Zimbabwe, and of all the empires we have explored today are not relics of a dead past. They are the foundations upon which modern Africa is built. They are a source of immense pride and a powerful reminder of what was and what can be again. It is our duty to seek out these stories, to learn from them, and to celebrate them. By understanding this rich and powerful past, we honor the ancestors who built these incredible civilizations and reclaim a narrative that is rightfully theirs. The story of Africa is one of resilience, innovation, and enduring majesty. Let us carry these stories forward, ensuring they are never forgotten again. Join us next time as we continue to uncover the untold stories of Africa's greatness.